that Trump saw hate as a civic good. That was basically his ethos. And I think you have seen that carry through now for years. But you have at these rallies where he is cursing more often. He is saying, as I said, very apocalyptic things. And applauded for it. A lot of kids. There's a lot of kids at these rallies.
Do you ever just get sick and tired of being sick and tired? And like,
I get tired of it.
No, because elections are supposed to be like, well, let's talk about inflation. Let's talk about immigration. Let's talk about what happened in Hawaii with the fires and everything. You know, like real issues. Do you ever just get like, can we just actually talk about issues instead of, I don't even want to talk about Stormy. I don't want to talk about hush payments. You know, I don't want to talk about election deniers.
What is good, YouTube family? It's your boy Shop. We back again with the Black Anomaly Rising channel. So I gotta talk to y'all about Charles Barkley again. This guy accidentally was calling out this Trump deranged lady for her Trump derangement, Maggie Haberman. Okay, this is some sort of best-selling author supposedly, and she wrote a book about, you guessed it, Donald Trump, and it's basically an entire book filled with Trump derangement, right? So these people have found maximum grift. Now, the fact that people try to call me a grifter is astounding when you literally got people writing entire books dedicated to their thoughts on Donald Trump. And not only that, you actually got people purchasing and reading the books. Like, just imagine that. But anyway, this guy basically calls her out saying like, hey, how come you don't actually focus on the issues? How come we don't focus on the issues? How come it's only just insurrectionists, hush money payments, grape charges? It's all of this ridiculous stuff, but they never really talk about the issues like the economy, illegal immigration, the prices of goods and services, interest rates, right? They don't talk about this sort of stuff. The status of our education system and actually making real change, not just, oh, student loan forgiveness, and then just hand out more loans to a bunch of students in mass. Like, that doesn't make any sense, right? You see how Democrats love to make a problem. You got the student loan forgiveness problem and then put a Band-Aid on it by forgiving some of the student loans, not all of it, obviously, but you're still divvying out student loans regularly, and you're not getting with these colleges trying to figure out what the hell is up with these insanely inflated prices. It's because it's a government scam. But that's an aside. Without further ado, let's go ahead and get into this video.
Do you ever just get sick and tired of being sick and tired? And like,
I get tired of it.
No, because elections are supposed to be like, well, let's talk about inflation. Let's talk about immigration. Let's talk about what happened in Hawaii with the fires and everything. You know, like real issues. Do you ever just get like, can we just actually talk about issues instead of, I don't even want to talk about Stormy. I don't want to talk about hush payments. You know, I don't want to talk about election deniers. I don't want to talk about January the 6th. You ever just get mentally?
They're not going to stop talking about that stuff because they feel like it's their only ticket to victory. Unfortunately for them, Americans, a lot of Americans do love the drama, right? I mean, this channel is proof of it, right? I cover a lot of that stuff, and a lot of people care about that stuff. But I also cover the state of the economy, okay? I cover it because a lot of these dodo brains cover it. And I'm trying to really make them look bad, to be honest with you. But in regard to what's actually happening in America, my goal with this entire channel is to inform people what's really going on so that they can really fight to save America, fight to save themselves economically, avoid this weird hostile LGBTQ takeover. Now it's like a freaking Jewish takeover with everybody being an anti-Semite if you're not 100% behind Israel. I mean, it's gotten to the point of being ridiculous. Okay, I want improvement of America, improvement of the black community. I don't give a damn about what's going on with Trump. I just want him to get past it so he can make America great again. Okay, like guilty, innocent, it's not really my problem. Of course, I mean, if he's guilty, then yeah, he needs to pay for what he did. If he's not, then he needs to be let free and not have a bunch of radical leftists just trying to throw more stuff at him just because they hate him and they got personal vendettas against him. So of course, it really always should be about the issues, but the tyrannical leftists don't want it to be about the issues because they're losing on practically every issue that there is. The only thing that they really got to fight for is maybe abortion, which you can still do as long as you live in a very liberal place, and even places that aren't very liberal, you can still do it if you do it early enough, right? A lot of abortion laws haven't even changed since Roe v. Wade even started. But no, or since it was overturned. But it doesn't matter. Doesn't matter. As long as Roe v. Wade was overturned. Oh, no. Republicans are just public enemy number one to these wackos. Like, these people are weird, man. They don't care about the economy. They don't care about like the high prices, literally things that impact their life on a daily. But no, abortion, that's going to be the biggest issue for them, like forever, for every election. They don't have nothing else to go on.
First of all, it might be good for your job, but you ever just like, can we just talk about issues?
Well, my personal thing is that folks in my life want to talk about politics as their side game, and that's all I do all day long. So for me, that's never a break when people think that that's my side conversation. Look, this is an election that we have never seen anything like this before. We have a former president on trial for the first time, criminally indicted for the first time.
You see how she just avoided talking about the things like Charles Barkley is like, okay, what about the economy and things impacting people's life? And guess what she did? She ignored all of that. Totally ignored it. Didn't even talk about it. She just said, well, this is a unique situation. We got to talk about the fact that, this is the first time a president's had criminal charges. Yeah, and it's a bunch of freaking BS. It's nonsense. It's garbage. It's not real. Like a bunch of charges over hush money payments when they already done convicted the guy who made the payments, Michael Cohen. He's the one who made the payments, not Donald Trump. They already convicted him for that. Now they're trying to go after Trump too, even though there's no evidence that proves that Trump did anything. It's dead in the water already, guys. Okay, the other charges that Trump had were civil charges. You don't need any material evidence to really get any type of civil charge ruling against you, right? In the fraud case, there was no trial to determine his guilt at all. The judge determined he was guilty prior to trial.
Before this trial even began, the judge ruled in our favor and found that Donald Trump did engage in years of significant financial fraud we uncovered.
Like this, it was a summary judgment. These are not real instances. And this lady, I believe 100%, if she is a journalist, I 100% believe that she's read up on a lot of this stuff and she knows what's going on, probably just as well, maybe better than what I know. And she just assumes that Trump is guilty or doesn't care because she just doesn't like him. I think that's what the majority of people are doing. And if they know that he's not guilty, I don't think that they care either way. I think that they would happily put him in jail knowing that he's innocent just because they don't like him. That's how corrupt these radical leftists are.
And so it's a remarkable moment in history. And we are all covering something that is historic. But it is a very, very bracing moment for the country. There is no question.
But even his court cases, Maggie, he seems to turn those into election opportunities.
He sees them as campaign events. He treats them as campaign events. And now, it's going to be harder to do, I think, in this one. Just FYI.
That's because y'all refuse to leave this man alone. He's got so much publicity. Joe Biden is like you practically can never catch this man on TV. He never comes to events. There's like no speeches. He pretty much got the State of the Union speech, and everything else is like these pre-recorded videos. And even that, they don't even release that often, the pre-recorded videos. Trump has pre-recorded videos. He goes to different campaign events constantly. He's always out there. Okay, like he got his shoes and they trying to make fun of him for selling the shoes. It's like he just did a huge campaign event. I did a video about it where he raised a bunch of money. So it's like, guys, the difference is night and day here, and again, played another part of the video, still hasn't talked about the issues. Charles Barkley literally trying to say like, hey, can we talk about issues? And she's basically like, man, hell nah, I'm trying to talk about his indictments. Like, let's go. Let's talk about indictments more. Let's talk about these fake indictments that a bunch of radical leftists brought on Donald Trump. No conservatives did. A bunch of tyrannical leftists did.
Here about Donald Trump is that he really cares about his money and his finances, and they seem to be in jeopardy. Do you have any idea how much he's really worth? At first it was, a billionaire, and now the numbers always change. we never, ever did see his tax returns, ever.
Nope, we did not, and he broke...
First time that has happened.
In
for the
decades.
president.
Yes, and he broke precedent with that. Look, we have no idea how much actual cash he has on hand. We know what some of his assets are, and so on paper, with those assets, he is a billionaire. But again, he claimed to have a certain amount of cash. There was no way to verify that. He appears to be likely to get an infusion from this social media deal for Truth Social that he has, but the stock has been bouncing around a lot. That's right. And so I have no idea what he's actually worth, and I don't know that we will ever.
Do you think it matters?
Well, I think it matters to him.
Yeah, I know it matters to him.
Yeah, and does it matter in terms of the minds of voters? Look, for people who don't like him, it matters, and for people who do like him, they already believe what he's been saying for decades.
If it doesn't matter, then why y'all even bringing it up? You see how these people think? Of course it matters. They want Trump to look like he's broke, like he's dusty. Okay, that's what they prefer. They don't want Trump to have money. Okay, they were mad that he posted his bond. They were mad that his bond decreased. I did a video about them having meltdowns. How dare the justice system, the appellate court, work as an appellate court? Like, anytime the justice system is against Trump, they're the happiest people ever. And anytime that it works properly, nonpartisanly, then they have meltdowns.
So I don't know how much the actual fact would make a difference at this point. I do know it matters to him because he spent years trying to get on, wealthiest persons list and talking about his net worth and inflating it in conversations. So it's obvious it's a big statistic to him.
If the Democrats lose, they'll probably lose graciously.
Fool, slap yourself 3 times.
If President Trump loses, are you worried about? I mean, we got to
y'all like, okay.
Help me! Help me!
We gotta we gotta pause. I'm done with reacting to this video. Charles Barkley, you lost me, bruh. You lost me. You say if the Democrats lose, they're gonna lose graciously. Like, look at all the stuff that they're doing now. Let's not forget that in 2016, when they lost, Hillary Clinton immediately went out and started saying, "Oh, this is Russia."
You can run the best campaign, you can even become the nominee, and you can have the election stolen from you.
How can you win with Russian interference, though?
That's
what
real
I'm
thing.
scared about in 2020.
But rightly.
Because I think he's an illegitimate president that didn't really win. So how do you fight against that in 2020?
You are absolutely right.
He's an illegitimate president in my mind.
Would you be my vice presidential candidate? Folks, look, I absolutely agree.
Trump didn't actually win the election in 2016. He lost the election, and he was put into office because the Russians interfered.
Trump knows he's an illegitimate president.
The president-elect, although legally elected, is not legitimate.
I don't see this president-elect as a legitimate president.
You said you believe that Russia's interference altered the outcome of the election.
I do. We have a president who, if in fact it is proven, has been assisted by the Russians and may in fact not be a legitimate president.
The one thing that Trump is fearful of when it comes to his being president is that finally we will see how illegitimate his victory actually was.
Okay, and there was protest back then, and they didn't want to certify the election results.
I have an objection because 10 of the 29 electoral votes cast by Florida were cast by electors not lawfully certified.
Is the objection in writing and signed not only by the member of the House of Representatives, but also by a senator?
It is in writing, Mr. President.
Is it signed by a senator?
Not as of yet, Mr. President.
In that case, the objection cannot be entertained.
Mr. President, I object to the certificate from the state of Georgia on the grounds that the electoral votes were not...
There's no debate.
I object to a certificate from the state of North Carolina based on violations of the Voting Rights Act.
There's no debate in the joint session.
I object because people are horrified by the overwhelming evidence.
Section 18, Title 3 of the United States Code prohibits debate.
I object.
I've objected to the counting of the electoral votes of the state of Ohio.
I object to the certificate from the state of Alabama. The electors were not lawfully certified.
I object to the 15 votes from the state of North Carolina because of the massive voter suppression and the closing of polling booths.
There's no debate. There's no debate.
16
There's
to
no
1,
debate.
And the massive voter suppression that occurred to
The gentleman will suspend.
I have an objection to the electoral votes.
The objection is in writing, and I don't care that it is not signed by a member of the Senate.
I do not wish to debate.
I wish to ask, is there one United States senator who will join me in this letter
There
of
is no
objection?
debate.
The objection is signed by a member of the House, but not yet by a member of the Senate.
It is over.
So all of the stuff Charles Barkley is talking about, these people are like, man, okay, I get y'all always on the road and, you know, you always working, you got shows, but guess what? I'm working. I got like, the way that my schedule is set, I got like 3 different jobs, okay, including YouTube. That's the way my schedule is set. So I'm always busy too. To be this uninformed about the Democrats and how they've historically been talking about abolishing electoral college, making up stories about Russia collusion. Rachel Maddow still talks about Russia collusion occasionally, and so does Hillary Clinton. So to say that they're going to bow out graciously is just nonsense. Guys, they don't want to talk about the issues. This is a bunch of BS. Of course, they don't want to talk about issues because if you talk about the economy, Biden loses. Okay, you talk about the wars in America, Biden loses. You talk about illegal immigration, Biden loses. So of course they don't want to talk about issues. That's one of the reasons why Joe Biden has not accepted Donald Trump's challenge for a debate. He's afraid, and he should be, because he barely keep up with Trump 4 years ago. Now Joe Biden talks so freaking slow. He moves so slow. He thinks so slow. He acts so slow. Everything about this dude is slow. Okay, like it's not gonna work this time. He lost the debates last time, and this time it's gonna be him getting smoked even worse, because you know eventually he's probably gonna do at least one debate. Usually they do like maybe 3, but this time I don't know, he might try to dodge the debates entirely. I would not be surprised, because in my opinion, the debates, seeing as how Biden is behind in most polls, the debates really could only help him if he were to do good. But since that's not going to happen, he might choose to not do the debates at all. Okay, because he doesn't win on the issues, and he's not a good debater. He wasn't a good debater ever since Sarah Palin days. Okay, that was the closest he came to being a good debater. But beyond that, I mean, he pretty much got smoked by Kamala Harris back in the day. It's over for Joe Biden. Okay, and these radical leftists don't even want to talk about the issues. They're going to keep trying to fearmonger and, oh, he's trying to be a dictator. America's going to fall apart. America's going to explode if Donald Trump is elected. America's just going to be filled with hate. It's racist and bigotry, even though you got black men. There's tons of black men on YouTube and other races who are advocating for Donald Trump. So where's all this hatred and bigotry? Like, we just all hate ourselves, huh? That's what it is. These people are clowns. Drop a like on the video. Subscribe to the channel if you're new. I appreciate y'all watching the Black Anomaly Rising channel. I'm out.
1.4 million Georgia voters before the election. That's what happened to Stacey Abrams. They took the votes away.
Was the election in Georgia statewide a free and fair election?
It was not a free and fair election.
Reminder, she wrote, Brian Kemp stole the gubernatorial election from Georgians and Stacey Abrams.
And it was not fair to those who filled out absentee ballots.
She probably won.
But will I say that this election was not tainted, was not a disinvestment and a disenfranchisement of thousands of voters? I will not say that.